7. Fort Boyard. Nestled in the eerie silence of the Caspian Sea, a long-forgotten relic of the Soviet era stands as a haunting testament to a bygone era of military innovation. The abandoned Diesel plant, once a bustling Soviet weapon testing site, now rests in desolate isolation, frozen in time. This remote facility, often referred to as the Russian Fort Boyard, is a chilling reminder of the past. Aerial footage of the Diesel plant captured the unsettling solitude of this abandoned outpost, perched on the southern border of Russia's Dagestan, with a view extending over Kazakhstan. In its heyday, this sprawling 55,972 square foot complex played a pivotal role in the development of torpedoes and naval weaponry, housing a community of workers. The infrastructure, predominantly constructed from reinforced concrete foundations and metal structures, now lies in eerie silence. What was once a thriving facility, positioned about 2 miles offshore, boasted a range of amenities, including a hotel for its inhabitants, leisure facilities like a library, and even a basketball court. Dating back to its establishment in 1939, this 3-floor complex featured a commanding lookout tower and the modern comforts of its time, such as spacious living quarters and parquet floors. One of its remarkable engineering feats was the construction of the underwater section known as the Array, which was fabricated by the coast and then floated to its designated location before being submerged. However, this place of innovation and industry has been deserted for over half a century, left to deteriorate into a mere shell of its former glory. Today, the Diesel plant has found a new lease on life, but not as intended. It's become a haunting attraction for adventurous thrill-seekers eager to explore a lost world frozen in time. The site's chilling atmosphere, infused with a sense of abandonment, tells a story of forgotten military ambitions and the relentless march of time, making it a compelling destination for those drawn to the eerie remnants of a bygone era. 6. Pripyat, the abandoned Chernobyl city. In the haunting shadows of the Chernobyl nuclear station's catastrophic history is the abandoned city of Pripyat in Ukraine, where time's come to a standstill. Despite the grim legacy of the 1986 reactor meltdown that led to immense devastation, tours of the irradiated towns around Chernobyl are growing in popularity. Established in 1970 to house Chernobyl's workers, Pripyat was once a thriving city of 49,000 inhabitants. It boasted 15 primary schools, a vast hospital complex, numerous stores and gyms, as well as parks, cinemas, factories, and more. It was considered to be one of the most beautiful and luxurious cities in the Soviet Union. However, on April 27, 1986, the entire city was evacuated within 3 hours. This was initially meant as a test to see how much power the Chernobyl nuclear station needed to keep the number 4 reactor going in the event of a blackout, but things didn't go exactly as planned. During this test, the number 4 reactor caught fire, which quickly spread to other parts of the facility. Extensive damage was done to the building as a result. And what's even worse is that the fire caused radioactive chemicals to spill into the air, contaminating millions of square miles and putting countless people's lives at risk. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, the explosion killed some 30 people, which doesn't seem like that many casualties. But combine that number with the several thousand cases of people who develop cancer, and you've got one of the worst disasters in nuclear history. Today, over 3 decades later, Pripyat remains a haunting time capsule of the Soviet Union in 1986. Communist propaganda still adorns the walls, personal belongings litter the streets, and abandoned buildings stand as solemn witnesses to the past. The city's clock hands remain frozen at 11:55, marking the exact moment the electricity was cut. Contrary to popular belief, Pripyat was never completely abandoned. Military personnel, scientists, and public authorities have used the city as a base for radiation cleanup in the newly established exclusion zone. Remarkably, there's still electricity in some parts, a functional vehicle base, and even operational laundry facilities where workers' uniforms are cleaned. The absence of human presence has been surprisingly beneficial for wildlife, with animal populations thriving in the absence of human habitation. To explore Pripyat and the surrounding villages, visitors must obtain a day pass from the government, usually through tour agencies located in Kyiv, about 68 miles from the Chernobyl site. While safety concerns are relatively low, radiation levels are closely monitored during tours, and they're typically well below lethal doses. Despite the resilient spirit of Pripyat's eerie remnants, the city is gradually being reclaimed by encroaching forests. Time is steadily erasing the traces of human existence, foreshadowing a day when this abandoned city will be entirely consumed by Mother Nature. 5. The Paris Catacombs. Beneath the romantic facade of Paris lies a dark and chilling secret: the Paris Catacombs. This underground labyrinth holds a history that's both terrifying and fascinating. Constructed during the 14th century, these catacombs originated as quarries, providing the stone for iconic Parisian monuments, including majestic cathedrals. However, the price of mining was high, as sections of the ground weakened and collapsed over time. As the city's population surged, it faced a growing dilemma: overcrowded cemeteries and a surplus of waste. And in 1780, the situation reached a gruesome low when human remains were discovered in the basement of a local restaurant. To address the crisis, in 1786, the authorities initiated a covert operation to transfer the surplus remains from overflowing cemeteries into the catacombs. These eerie, clandestine nighttime activities gave the catacombs their first load of human remains. By the early 19th century, the catacombs had become the final resting place for around 6 million souls. The catacombs of Paris, with their dark, bone-filled passages, exude a haunting and unsettling aura. While tourists are now allowed to explore the designated sections, there exists an underground world beyond, accessible only to a secretive group known as cataphiles. These individuals trespass into the restricted catacomb areas, seeking adventure and even conducting ghost hunting expeditions. Venturing into these off-limit zones isn't only illegal, but also perilous. The uncharted catacombs can disorient and terrify trespassers, sometimes leading to tragic outcomes. The catacombs' mystique is undeniable, drawing in those who seek to explore their depths. In this subterranean realm, millions of souls rest in an eternal, eerie silence, a chilling reminder of the city's past. The Paris catacombs remain an enigmatic and unsettling place where the boundary between life and death becomes blurred, making them a captivating yet foreboding destination for those drawn to the macabre and mysterious. 4. Xicheng. Beneath the tranquil waters of China's Qingdao Lake lies a submerged city known as Xicheng, or the Lion City, and its haunting presence is captivating to say the least. This ancient city was intentionally submerged in 1959, a casualty of industrialization when a hydroelectric dam was needed for Zhejiang province. Qingdao Lake, also called Thousand Island Lake, covers a vast 221 square miles and is named after its multitude of islands, of which there are over 1,000. Xicheng's haunting moniker, the Lion City, stems from its proximity to the Wuxi Mountain, which translates to Five Lion Mountain in English. This submerged city, which had been inhabited for centuries, now serves as an underwater tourist attraction for adventurous travelers and diving enthusiasts. Built during the Tang Dynasty in 621 AD, Xicheng boasts an age of nearly 1,400 years. The city's underwater preservation, resting 131 feet below the surface, has shielded its homes, temples, structures, and paved roads from the ravages of wind, rain, and sun. It's believed to be massive, likely spanning over 60 football fields, featuring an astounding 265 arches throughout the city. This lost city's distinctiveness extends to its architectural design, with 5 entrance gates, contrary to the usual 4, and intricate stonework dating back to the Ming and Qing dynasties. The city walls themselves trace their origins to the 16th century. In 2001, the Chinese government initiated an expedition to explore the submerged metropolis, and Xicheng was rediscovered. In 2011, images and descriptions published by Chinese National Geography piqued the public and researcher interest in this enigmatic sunken city. Divers and researchers have diligently documented Xicheng's well-preserved structures, carvings, guardian lions, and arches, making efforts to map and protect this underwater relic. As a result, Xicheng has been officially declared a historical relic under the protection of the Zhejiang province. The city's chilling and mesmerizing presence, frozen beneath the lake's surface, continues to intrigue and beckon those who seek to uncover the truth of the past. 3. Dennoot Gods. In the heart of Bruges in Belgium, there stands a house with a history that sends chills down the spine. Dating back to 1802, it was once part of a landscape that included a nunnery and an Augustinian monastery, divided by the gentle flow of the River Ray. These 2 holy institutions were rumored to be linked by an underground tunnel, a passage that remained unused as the monks and nuns crossed the river via a bridge. The tale takes a chilling turn when Hortense, a young novice on the path to becoming a nun, becomes the subject of forbidden desire. A young priest, tormented by his feelings for her, couldn't resist the allure. He discovered the long-forgotten underground passage, and temptation led him to the nunnery in search of Hortense. Hortense reciprocated his affections, but struggled with the forbidden love. The monk's nightly visits created a complicated and dangerous dance of desire. And as the tension mounted, he grew increasingly desperate and, some say, violent. Legend has it that the monk, ultimately consumed by his jealousy and anger, resorted to violence, stabbing Hortense and fleeing with her lifeless body. Soon after, the nuns began to witness the ghosts of their departed sisters, haunting the halls with their spectral presence. Some nuns, deeply disturbed by these apparitions, left and never returned. The ghost of a woman in white, and at times the monk, wandered the house, evoking an unsettling atmosphere. Centuries later, the Unlach family from England took residence in this eerie house, only to experience encounters with these vengeful spirits. Seeking answers, they enlisted the help of a medium named Eglinton. As Eglinton delved into the spiritual realm, he was stricken with convulsions and nearly fell into a coma. But during this harrowing experience, he claimed to have communicated with the ghosts of the ill-fated nun and priest. The priest confessed to a tragic tale of love gone awry, admitting to stabbing Hortense and burying her lifeless body. He beseeched Eglinton to pray for him, acknowledging his dreadful deed. The nun's ghost corroborated the priest's confession and urged Eglinton to pray for her killer, although she refused to reveal his name, stating only that he was Italian and 31 years old. To this day, the spirits of the nun in her white dress and the remorseful priest are said to linger on the property. They're never seen together and vanish around midnight, destined to wander the grounds eternally searching for their lost love. A haunting tale that lingers in the very walls of the Bruges haunted house. 2. Rolling Hills Asylum. In East Bethany, New York, the Rolling Hills Asylum is a place with a chilling history that's earned it a reputation as one of the most haunted sites in the state and the world. Established on January 1, 1827, this former asylum has a legacy marked by horrifying tales and at least 1,700 documented deaths over 2 centuries. Originally known as the Genesee County Poorhouse, Rolling Hills Asylum was a refuge for the mentally and physically disabled, as well as widows, orphans, and anyone struggling financially or unable to care for themselves. It served as a place of last resort for the most vulnerable in society, but many who entered its doors never left. With an overwhelming number of people passing through, nearly 2,000 documented deaths are recorded, but there are countless more undocumented fatalities shrouded in mystery and despair. The notoriety of Rolling Hills Asylum as a paranormal hotspot has made it a subject of fascination and fear, earning it a spot on various television shows, including Ghost Asylum, Ghost Hunters, Destination Fear, Paranormal Challenge, and even a promotion for FX's American Horror Story Asylum. This abandoned institution carries with it a palpable aura of the unknown, drawing in those who seek to explore its gruesome past. The asylum is now privately owned by Sharon Coyle, who, after experiencing paranormal activity during her visit in 2008, felt a deep connection to the place. Determined to preserve its history and the stories of the lost souls who once resided there, she took ownership of the property, ensuring that its legacy endures. Today, Rolling Hills Asylum opens its doors to the public on select dates in October, inviting the curious to learn about its history and for the brave to engage in respectful encounters with lingering spirits. A self-guided 3-hour tour, known as a Psych Hold, allows visitors to explore the expansive 60,000 square foot building, providing a glimpse into the unsettling history that lingers within its abandoned walls. 1. Ross Island. In the midst of the Indian Ocean, over 800 miles from mainland India, lies the eerily abandoned Ross Island. Measuring less than 1/3 of a square mile, this small speck of land harbors a chilling history and is now shrouded in a thick blanket of lush foliage. The remnants of a once thriving British colonial settlement are entwined within massive ficus tree roots, while a grand ballroom where couples once waltzed stands overrun by nature. Ross Island's sinister past dates back to the aftermath of the Indian Mutiny in 1857, a pivotal moment in India's struggle for independence. In response to the rebellion, British colonists established a remote penal settlement on the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago to quell dissent. Dr. James Patterson Walker arrived on the archipelago in 1858, along with 200 convicts and rebels, and designated Ross Island as the administrative headquarters for this colonial complex. What followed was an era marked by unspeakable cruelty and brutalization of convicts and political prisoners. Inmates, often suffering from diseases like malaria and cholera, were forced to transform the once impenetrable, humid forests into a colonial paradise. They constructed lavish structures, including a commissioner's bungalow and a Presbyterian church adorned with stained glass windows from Italy. Ross Island's colonial overlords enjoyed manicured gardens, tennis courts, and swimming pools, while the prisoners lived in overcrowded, disease-ridden conditions. As the Indian independence movement gained momentum in the early 20th century, the need for a proper prison led to the construction of the infamous Cellular Jail in Port Blair, known for its brutal treatment of Indian prisoners. While the Cellular Jail closed in 1937, Ross Island's tragic history continued. A powerful earthquake in 1941 resulted in more than 3,000 deaths and severe damage to the island. And shortly after, Japanese forces occupied the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, pillaging Ross Island for resources and constructing bunkers. The Allied forces retook the islands in 1945, leading to the permanent dissolution of the penal colony. Today, Ross Island is administered by the Indian government and serves as a haunting tourist attraction. Nature has reclaimed the land, with gnarled trees enveloping buildings, leaving only the roofless walls as remnants of a once successful colonial past. But beneath the island's picturesque facade lies the forgotten story of decades of colonial oppression, a dark chapter in the history of the British Empire. Ross Island, once hailed as the Paris of the East, now stands as an unlikely memorial to the suffering of the oppressed. Which one of these creepy abandoned places would you dare to explore yourself? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.